Calling out to the wolf pack. This is Call of the Wild with Danielle Lewis. Here today to talk about Tim Black, H.A. Goodman, and Niko House. Tim Black, you continue to impress me every single day that I have the pleasure to watch your show. Rather than continuing to speak about someone behind their back, you invited Rokana onto your show. You asked him questions and you let him speak. You will never know how much that means to us. We need to see these people. We need to hear these people. We need to see how they behave and how their actions differ from their rhetoric. And when you give them a platform, knowing that their basis for being there is to be against the establishment, we need to see him and he needs to prove it. So thank you for bringing him onto your show. Keep fighting, keep doing what you're doing, Tim Black. I absolutely adore you. Now, H.A. Goodman, I am at an absolute loss of what to do about you. On the one hand, you're continuing to smear Justice Democrats by virtue of association with TYT. And on the other hand, you are a righteous warrior for the cause. You stuck right by us when the DNC stole Bernie Sanders' presidency. You talk about racial and gender issues, and they're close to your heart. You talk about income inequality and the corporatocracy that is killing us. You talk about universal health care. These are all things that we need to talk about and we need to bring to the mainstream. H.A., I need you to be that guy. Always and forever. You have nothing left to prove by continuing this idiotic feud with TYT. Cenk Uygur burned his bridge after the Democratic primary. He lost all credibility right then and there. And I wish you guys would have called him out then and there for it, but you didn't, and he started this late, and that's okay. I don't care anymore. TYT is done. Everyone's breaking away from the smaller affiliates, and I guarantee you that TYT is done. Rather than watching TYT main, I recommend everyone go check out Jimmy Dore, Kyle Kalinske, Mike Figueredo, and Jeff Waldorf. They are the legs that TYT stands on, quite literally, if I might say so myself. And keep watching Tim Black, and keep watching H.A. Goodman, because they are getting the issues out there. But H.A., I need you to be that warrior for justice. And when you throw the baby out with the bathwater and throw Justice Democrats out with TYT, you're creating this dichotomy in which it is Justice Democrats versus Draft Bernie. And that's not what we need. We need this multi-frontal attack on corporate Democrats to let them know once and for all that the people are not going to put up with this anymore. And we need the Justice Democrats primarying corporate Democrats, and we need the Draft Bernie people to still desperately beg Bernie Sanders to break away and form a third party to let the corporate Democrats know once and for all that we're not putting up with this anymore. But is Draft Bernie running any candidates? I honestly don't know. I mean, if someone can let me know, please let me know. Right now, Justice Democrats are, and right now they're a viable option, and we need to support all of us because we're all on the same side. And when you start dividing us into one camp or the other, we can't support each other, and we stop listening, and we start building walls. And H.A., I need you to be a warrior for what is good, no matter if it's called Justice Democrat or if it's called an independent. Now, this brings me all to Niko House. Niko, I came to your channel through H.A. Goodman and Tim Black, obviously, because you very righteously went after TYT for their ridiculous rhetoric on the DNC class action lawsuit. That video is forthcoming, by the way. You are with us. Again, we're on the same side. I get it. But last night I saw your video entitled Justice Democrats, the problem no one in progressive media wants to talk about. Okay, I'm willing to listen. No problem. Niko starts out with, quote, "I'm not saying the idea of Justice Democrats is a bad one, but the way that TYT is going about it is unethical," end quote. Unethical? Okay, great. How is my only question. I need to know this. He goes on, quote, "When you align yourself with one particular party, you put yourself in a position to be compromised. And you put yourself in a position to do this." And he puts his hands over his ears. That means you're not entertaining any ideas of success of the Green Party or the Libertarian Party or the Republican Party or anything in between, end quote. Niko, I would pose the same statement to you. When you align yourself with one particular faction and shut out all others, all you're doing is covering your ears and refusing to listen because you've already made your decision. Niko, we need to be open-minded. We need to keep our wits about us because you know that the corporate Democrats are going to throw everything they have at us. And believe me, they already are. Wait until you hear this transcript of the DNC lawsuit. I'm sure you've already read it, Niko House. You're probably much more ahead of this than I am. Never mind. Now, let's continue. Quote, "Now, when that happens, you get people to come on the show. You get your views up. This is an online publication and an online media site. And so you get click, 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 click. And the more success you have, which means the more effort and resources you're going to put behind, the more money you make. Yes or no?" End quote. Yes, 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 I absolutely agree with you, Niko. I absolutely agree. I'm sure that, I haven't looked at the numbers, but I'm sure that Tim Black's show with Ro Khanna got extremely high view numbers. Why? Because we need to see this guy. Now, what you're saying here basically is that Justice Democrats is nothing but a clickbait campaign for TYT. And that, I don't want to be too harsh on you, Niko. I really don't. But that is monstrous. Once again, you're trying to divide us. You're trying to say Draft Bernie is the only way to go. And no matter what any of the Justice Democrats say, no matter what any other independent media site says about Justice Democrats, you've already made your decision. But where I have now, he said that TYT was being unethical. Has anyone else heard anything in what I've quoted that says that TYT is being unethical? Now, he says, now I'm going to start paraphrasing here. Now he starts talking about when you align yourself with one party or one faction, you start saying stupid things like, well, Russia hacked the election. Or Trump is a Putin puppet. You know, that kind of thing. But I would also put to you, Niko, that if you align yourself to one faction, you start saying stupid things like Ro Khanna takes super PAC money. Niko, Open Secrets says that Ro Khanna has taken no PAC money at all. The Mike Honda email is not proof that Mike Honda could have said anything and everything he wanted to about about Ro Khanna. Open Secrets says you're wrong. I'm sorry. Now, you also go on to talk about the importance of truth and objectivity in independent media. Again, I absolutely agree with you. quote, it's your and mine obligation to remain objective. Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. You're right. We all want to influence political opinion. And you're also right to say that we need to do it by giving facts and allowing people to make an educated decision. But he goes on to say something outrageous. Quote, that does not mean we go out of the way to tip the scales in any other way than what is truth and what isn't. End quote. You guys are using WikiLeaks disingenuously to smear O'Connor and trying to tip the scales so that Justice Democrats are discredited right out the gate, and more people will leave the DNC and go to the Draft Bernie campaign. Everything that you have talked about in this video, Niko, you are guilty of yourself. Reading through this, the irony is just palpable. And once again, I'm going to come out from the wolf pack, single myself out, and beg H.A. Goodman, Niko House, Tim Black to let go of the feud with TYT and vet every Justice Democrat on merit. And don't ever give up your fight to get Bernie to break away from the Democratic Party, because that's worth it too.